on, I think we're going to make some earrings. I haven't really decided what we're doing yet, to be truthful with you, because I hadn't made any plans. So, I think we're going to use our bargain bead box Falling Leaves and probably going to make some earrings, I think. So, I will turn down in just a moment and we can do that. We'll talk for a few minutes while we're waiting for a few more people to come on. But as few of you know, I like to use my toggles to hang things off of for making earrings, and I think that's what we're going to do today. Now, I don't have a lot of rose gold findings, so I'm probably going to have to use gold, and well, we'll see how they look, but that's probably what we're going to do. So, now we have a couple of you here. So let's turn down. We'll look over our beads and things. Good morning, Deborah, from this Falling Leaves bargain bead box, and we'll come up with some ideas on what we want to do. So so let's turn down, and we will do that. So everybody prepared to get dizzy, because that's what's going to happen here in just a second. So yeah, here we go. Come on, loosen so we can turn. Here we go. Flip you over. Come on, flip. As you can see, I have my bargain bead box pieces all spread out here. The one thing I know we're not going to use is this leaf, because we're going to use that as a pendant for a necklace sooner or later. And if you'll recall, when we did the painting of items, we painted this leaf, and I am going to hook these two together so that the rose gold leaf sort of accents the green. But we're not going to do that today. We'll do that a different day. I'm going to put this in here with this, though. For one thing, because I haven't designed it, and I think it would take, I'm debating doing a two-strand necklace with this. So if I do that, then of course it's going to take a little time. So put that one aside. Of course, we're not going to use this one also. This is the carved green pendant, so that one can go back. But here's our toggles. I'm going to take two of the female parts out because we're going to use those as the base for these. Go in. So we'll use these. Then we have some chain, which I'll probably chain some of this. I'm thinking I'm going to put these green leaves onto and hang them down, as well as some of these leaves. But when I hang these down, I think they need a little bit more because they're really lightweight. So I'm debating, I don't think I want these big ones for earrings. They're too big, I think. So what I am debating doing is taking our little leaves. Let's get these out of here. I want at least two on each earring with the green one in between them. But we'll see if we decide we need to add some more. So we'll keep these aside here because I might decide I want some more of these little leaves down here. And what I want to do, like I say, is I'm thinking we'll take these ones out. I already took those little hooks off. And we're going to put these, they're going to hang down with these ones probably up higher. You know, if you wanted to, you could, since there's like, what, 10 of these little leaves, I think I used one for something else, so I don't have 10. But you could make cha-cha earrings out of these with the dangles and stuff. So we're going to use this. Then we're going to hang these. And I'm not sure if we're going to put chain or if I'm just going to make a drop down to our leaves and then hook them on with some jump rings onto our bead here. So I think these are bigger than I want to. I don't want to overpower the little leaves and this one. So I'm thinking what we want to do is take the green leaves put them above these guys, and maybe one of these yellow or golden colored leaves above this guy here. Might need two because we want this one down lower than those. But that might be getting too many beads in there. Not sure I care for that. So maybe take these guys out and just put on some regular little aventurines here. We don't think the bead strands cut in here, so we'll just cut that. Hi, Becky and Rose. So maybe these guys here. I think I could then maybe take some of these little hematites, maybe put up here. Who are you? Spacer between these two. Oop, it fell out of place. So, hi Linda, hi Becky. So we're gonna put these in like so, for sure. And then I have to decide if I want to put it on a little chain here or if I want to just let it go. And the other thing I need to decide is if I'm going to put another bead up on top, maybe the green leaf up there. I think that's looking good, so I think that may be what we do right there. And if we wanted these a little longer without the chain, we could put another of these here. And then maybe one of these little guys on. You can tell I haven't done much with these, can't you, since I'm having to cut all the beads apart already. So we go here and maybe put one here and here. Like so. Now that would bring these up quite a bit further than this other one. And if I wanted more, I could add some more beads to drop these little rose gold leaves down. And I may want to do that because we are up there higher now. So this is going to be a long earring, as you can see, but I think it's going to be fun. So to bring these down a bit, like so. I do want those little ones up there, though. So maybe another one of the greens right here. That'll bring the green up some more. And this will still drop down below because they're not as much of a length. Let's see what we got going here. I will just gonna need some. So one more of these light ones on this side. Unless you liked the darker color better, which I think is really pretty. I do like the darker color better, but I'll probably not use that. So we need to get the same amount of the same beads over here that we have on this side. So we need 4 of these. Oh, come on, you guys, come out. Cut your string, you should come out. Oop, yeah, they're coming out and going to the floor. Good show. I always got to drop some on the floor, it seems, every time I do something. So, back in the bag. We need 2 of these guys. 1 and 2. 2 of these. 2. Let's see what else we need here. And 2 of this. Oh, just 1 more of this spacer. Okay. And I don't think we're going to use the chain. I think I've already got it long enough with just the beads to hook this on and make it be really nice. So I've got some, these are copper 3-inch head pins. And we're going to get enough of those out. And now I'm going to cut the heads off these. I don't use these without, generally use ball heads for most of my earrings, so it doesn't bother me at all to cut the head off of these. So we're gonna, this one is got a pretty good kink in it, so I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, this is my bigger pair, and just sort of work that kink out some. So there's one up here too, but that's probably going to be where we're making our bins and stuff, so it won't be that much of an issue. So 3 for each earring. This one has a kink in it too. See if I can just rub it out. It wants to be a little bit squishy too, so we'll just, there we go. So now what we're going to do is because I don't use these as head pins and I want to use them as wire, I'm just going to take my heavy duty flush cutters, get up here where the heads are at, and snap them off. Do the same with this set too while we're at it. So those can go over there with this bunch of stuff. Now what I'm going to do is, because we've got quite a bit of wire of pieces here, and I don't need so I don't want to have a very big spin here, I'm just going to take my bell making pliers, and not this pair, Rose. Where are the steps? Huh. Weird. My stepped bell making pliers doesn't seem to be in my tool rack. That's very strange. Well, since my steps seem to have made a disappearing act, which is really strange, I will use my round nose up and around, drop it, bring it over. Now you see I didn't leave myself hardly any spinning room, but we'll see if it's enough to do anything with. But then I will be using my pliers to pull this in. My other I wonder if they're in the other room, because my other set of the black needle nose, our chain nose, are gone too. I was doing something in the other room, so that's probably where they're at. So as you can see, I didn't put hardly any roundness on here, but it's enough that it's going to, any wraps, it's just one, but it's enough to secure that on there. And it looks like it's still pretty straight, so we'll just put our beads on now. Rory's doing his usual morning complaining. So, because this is going to hang this way, and we want it to go over this, but we're going to put it on by jumprings, I'm not going to try and do a wrap on this. We want it to go this way, because you want it to have the same direction as your ring, since you're going to jump ring it. So I rarely use my round nose anymore for making loops, so it's a little weird to do that, but there we go. So now we'll hold this, and it always sounds like Rory saying mom when he's complaining in the mornings. Oops, that's turned up, and I don't want it to do that. So we're going to see if we can pull it back out some, which I frequently do with my nails, because I can seem to have a little more control with my nails, because I can feel what I'm doing here. You see how it bent up? I don't want it that way. Now, as you're playing with this, try to be careful, because remember, that is a glass bead, that leaf there if you have this problem. There we go. Down she went. Okay, so now this one's got to be straightened some because it is crooked. But it is more or less the way I want it to be. So we'll just straighten it a little bit. So there's this one. And it'll jump ring right here. Now we need to do the same with these others. So we'll do a bend. See how much. Yeah, that should be plenty. Up and over and around. And bring her over. Now that gap needs to be left in there, which I didn't, so I just had to spread it. If we put our other little leaf on here. Okay. We'll hold this where they come together. And as you can see, I did bend this wire a teeny touch. We'll have to see if I need to fix that when we're done wrapping this. When it gets small like that, I tend to do what I'm doing right now, and instead of pulling the wire, I will push it down into place. Sort of like when you're tucking, but it's an overlong tuck, so to speak. So there we go. Got that guy in. I didn't bend it as much as I thought, which is good. So then we'll go to putting our beads on, which is going to be the Now, one of the reasons why I went with the smallest, this small bead up here at the top, and I realized I didn't get any spacers for that. I'll steal them from over here and then replace them. Is that then when they come together, because inevitably they are going to come together, there's a smaller bead up there, so it's not going to get in the way so much. So it'll be like that. So it won't make them stand out straight, so to speak. So we need to get this one going. And again, we want that to go the opposite direction of the one at the bottom. And the bottom one is bent a little bit. We'll straighten that up. So up and over. Then we will now we want to bend this. Now, because I'm using the round nose pliers, I probably could just, instead of switching pliers, I can just use this one. And I just realized I didn't get out a wire to do the very top piece. So we'll have to do that. Tuck this little guy in. Oops, that's not good. We don't want it to do that. See what you just did here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to trim this little teeny piece off because I don't want to break that crystal. I may have already chipped it, and I can't really tell, it's too tiny. But there we go. Now we'll straighten the head of it up here. And see how we're doing down here. And now see, we need to turn this way a little bit. So there we go. And this one will be the second one here. Hi, PK. Okie dokie. So now we go to do the second one here. Again, I didn't get this spacer out, so we'll snitch it. And we're going to snitch one of these wires too to finish this up because I didn't get one out for that. But hey, I know where they're at. It's always a good thing. So now we will. Obviously, I wasn't quite prepared since I didn't look for my other pliers, thinking they were here when they weren't, which is not good, but that's all right. The other ones work. But as many of you know, I prefer when I'm making loops to use my stepped bill making plier. So now we pull this together, and I'm going to take, see how that wire's sticking sideways like that? I'm going to bring it this way before I start wrapping. That way it will wrap closer to the base instead of going way over. Okay, time to push. Anyway, it keeps it from going way up on the base bar when you're starting to wrap them. If you bend it like that first so that it is already about where you want it as far as your wrap is concerned. Because if it's already pointing down here, it's going to try to come down here, and that's not where we want it. So now with our beads, and then again we want it to go facing the opposite direction of our bottom one. So we flip its little sideways bender. Up and around our ring, drop it, bring her around, and then we'll take our second pair of pliers. And as you can see, this one's already up, the bar is. Hold it and bring her. Now this one will probably need a little trim on the wire because when we did it around this last one the last time, it was really close and we don't want to break our bicone. So we're going to trim this. And then we'll tuck our earring in here, our wire I should say. And there is our second one of these. So now I'm going to make a wrap up here. And I didn't get any ear wires out. I actually think I want to use some posts because I want that close. I have some right beside me here. So we will get, again, I don't have any rose gold, so we're going to settle for some regular gold, which is a pity because I really, you know, that's silver down there. Maybe I should just go silver since the little ring in our leaf is silver. So we could do that. And it wouldn't be such a jarring change. So let's get a couple of these out. I have some that are triangular, but they're hollow in the middle. Well, you know. Wonder if that one would look better than this one. Oh, I got 3. Yeah, I think we'll go with these guys. And I'll just put these other 2 away. Well, 3, because I accidentally got 3 out. So we'll just put these aside because they're in our way anyway. And so the next thing we want to do is just, we're going to, this time I am going to go directly to the pieces because I don't want to have to play with a lot of stuff here. So, and I don't want a multitude of jump rings up here. So I'm just going to bend this wire over here. We'll make our loop, but this time we have to leave a bit of a space here when we come around because we're going to have to hook it on. So we'll push this onto here and then we'll hold it and wrap it. And this looks like it needs to go this way a little bit, so we'll push it there. Now we're gonna we'll make sure we're good and straight here. We do look good straight, so we'll put our leaf on here. And now we want our hole to go this same direction. So we will bring her over. And up and around. Bring her down and pull her over. We're going to leave a gap here again because we're going to feed our ear wire on our post. Now, normally I would tell you if this has a front and a back, which it will when we're done, but at the present moment we don't have that. So you can feed this on any way you want. I always feed it backwards because it will flip around as it goes through the loop and come to the other direction. So if you're have a definite front and back, you want to make sure that you feed it backwards so that it comes to the front. So now we're going to wrap this. And I'm trying to drop my pliers, which I really don't want to do. Trim that excess off. And I let that fly. Should have been more careful with that. Okay, so now our top piece is done. And all we have to do is get some jump rings and put on the bottom ones. Now, normally I'd go for my smallest ones here because, well, it gives less of a signature. But unfortunately, that won't work because we need this big bar is a little bigger. So I'm going to drop a few jump rings out here. For some reason, a lot of these are already open. I think this is my medium size. Looks tiny. Let me see if I can. Now these are slightly bigger. They're antique copper. Oh, there's the gold ones. We'll go with them. No, these are antique copper also. A little lighter actually than those, so we'll go with these. Put these back in the bag because they are just smaller than I want them to be. So we're going all kinds of metals today, aren't we? So we'll get these. We'll open these up. And we'll start putting these on. Now remember, this one doesn't really have a front and back because the leaf has carved on both sides. However, the little ones do, so you're going to have to pay attention to those when you put them on. You want to make sure that you get them on the right direction. So there is our first one on. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty darn long earring. It's definitely a shoulder duster because it's 4 inches. But, and if you didn't want that length, you could take this bead out or any of the other little beads out to, you know, like this one and the other green one there to make it shorter. Because this is definitely a very long earring. So like I say, we need to be sure we put our these front to back the way they should be. And I might not have opened this enough. Oh, yeah, I did. Now, once you get this on, you're going to want to look at it, hold it down and look and make sure you're going the right direction. And I am. So then we have our third one to do here. And on it goes. Go ahead. Just go ahead. I'm fine. Come on, baby. Did I not open you enough? May not have. Now, this is definitely a big enough jump ring, but it doesn't. There it goes. Didn't want to go on there at first. Sorry for that little interruption. My husband has a doctor's appointment. Wanted to know if I was going to go with him. So anyway, there we go. Front, and there is our earring. And I know we're multi-metal, but that's all right. But as I say, this is a really long earring. This is going to be like it. What do we measure it at 4 inches? Yeah, for a little teeny bit over even. And 3 inches will generally hit your come close to your shoulders. So at 4, it's definitely a shoulder duster. We're hitting the shoulder at that point. But I think it turned out really pretty. And of course, we're going to put the second one together just the same way. Thank you, ladies. So there's our first one done. I will have to get it a post back. I know I do have some some slightly larger gold jump rings, but I don't want to go searching for them for forever. So the silver one works, especially since there is silver down here in the clip here for this. So there is that first earring all done. So the second one you put together exactly the same way. So let's get to it. So I did steal some stuff out for one of the others. So we will have to replace those things. But right now, oh yeah, we will need to right now because I need these right away. 4 of those, I believe. Yep, 4 it is. So, first one, just bend this guy over. Stay there. Up and over and around. Bring her down and around. And this is that one that only gets a teeny bit of wrap because that's the way it goes. Now here's that where I was talking about. See how I tried to move down the wire some and I just pushed it back up with my pliers. And to do that, I just got them close together and pushed them up, hanging on to the other pair of pliers as our base to push it with. Where are you, end? Oh, I see you. Okay. There we go. Let's see if we're crooked. That's not in all the way. We need to push that down a wee bit more. Okay. Alrighty. Now we need our leaves. That's pretty. I love that color. But so we want these to be going again the opposite way as the bottom. So we want to turn it sideways and do our bend. Bend over. And again, since we're not going to be attaching this to anything, a jump ring is going to attach it. We can just hold this baby and wrap it up. And it's wanting to drop downward. See how that's falling down some? So I have to bring it up, but I don't want to bring it up so far that when I do wrap it, it wraps on its upper ones, which it's trying to do right now. So we have to squish it down into place and bring it the rest of the way over. And I think we're good. So there's number one. Now, if I had wanted to do this part first, it wouldn't have affected anything because we're attaching everything down here. So, since I only have one wire left at the present moment, let's do that. So, bend this over. Bring her around. Drop it. Leave a gap to put that. See, I have left a gap right here. See my fingernails going into it. Because that's for our piece to slide in, so we don't have to fight with it. So now we will grab these where they come together and wrap this up. Now it looks like I only have 2 wraps right here, so we'll just do one little more around to the other side here. And we're going to cut this off because we want it to be relatively similar to the other side. There we go. And I've bent the wire a little bit. See how it's crooked? So we want to straighten that up. There we go, pretty much anyway. better. On with you. Now again, this loop has to go the same direction because we're going to be hooking it to the ear wire, the ear post. Over. Up and around. Drop it. Bring it over. Leave the gap. Feed in our ear wire. Now we hold it. Pushing those wires back together. Grab our second pair of pliers and wrap it up. Now, if you prefer wrapping with your fingers instead of with a second pair of pliers, that works too. It's no problem. Okay. Now you see how I bent that slightly when I was working on that. Just take it and bend it back. There we go. So there's our top part done. And there's one of our little ones down here at the bottom done. Now, one thing, if you like your, since these are both, that's a little crooked there, carved on both sides, and you want them to be facing, not facing the same direction when you put them in, watch for those things. So when you put this in, when I put this up here, I'm going to want to put it like this as opposed to like this, because this is the same, running the same direction. So we'll turn it over, and when I put it in, we'll do it like that. So now I need to get a couple more wires out and cut the heads off. So luckily I left them right here beside me. Straighten them up a little. This one's a little bit really wonky. Now, if you don't want to use your pliers or your fingers to do this, you can use a, if you have one. I had one sitting right beside me, but now I don't know where it's at. Maybe the same place as my other tools are at. So anyway, what I do is I just cut the heads off of these. And then they become a 3-inch piece of copper wire. So now we're going to wrap these guys up. So let's get our first bend in here. And then we will make our loop, leaving the slight gap so that we can get our leaves on. Up and over and around. And bring her over. Feed a leaf on. You know, it's remarkable how much these little leaves are fighting me to go on the loop when I left a gap, considering they're so thin. But no accounting for things. Okay, so we hold them where the wires come together. Take our second pair of pliers and wrap it around. This is not wrapping properly. There we go. Now I think these just had 2 wraps on the other ones as well. So let's see. Yep, that's 2. So we're going to trim this baby off right here and tuck it in. and it's wanting to go uphill, so I have to bring it back down and tuck it in. There we go. So now we need to see how straight we are. We're not very straight here, so we'll just straighten it up a bit. And then start feeding our beads on. An extra one of these. It's all right, I'll put it away. So there's our first one. So we have to wrap it up. Again, we want to wrap the opposite direction as the bottom one was. So we want to turn this way, and this looks a little crooked, so we're going to straighten it some. Go up here and flip this over. I think I'll just do a production line one of the top pieces. So we'll just get this one up and over and around, down, leave a gap, and feed our little leaf on. There we go. Hold this where they come together. Bring them around. Tuck her in. Okay. Now, see how I've got that leaning forward quite a bit, so we want to straighten that out. Better. Still a little crooked though, so we'll straighten her up. There we are. Now feed on our beads. We'll have to put that last little one away since I got an extra one out. Now again, we want to bend it so it faces the opposite direction as your one down here. So over we go. And now we'll wrap both of these up. So up and around and over. Bring her down, bring her around. Same with the other. Now I find it simpler to hold it with these type of pliers. Then I will switch sides because I'm right hand dominant, so I like to wrap with my right hand, and that slid down a little bit, so we're going to push it up, over and around. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's very crooked now. So we definitely have to straighten this top out. And okay. Looks like they're pretty good to each other. So now wrap the second one. How are we doing on time? We're almost out of time, but we're almost done too, so that's all right. So we're out of room for the wraps, so we'll cut this little bit off. Looks like I wrapped down a little lower than normally, so because of that, I am going to switch my pliers so I can tuck this with my tiny pliers instead of trying it with the fatter flat nose, even though the flat nose is pretty thin. I think that's as good as we're going to get, and it looks pretty good. So now the last step, of course, is to hook the jump rings. Take the jump rings and hook our little guys together. So we'll use this first one here and get our middle one done because we've got it facing the way we want it. So this is the way we want to put it on. So we'll go through this loop. Now I'm moving this so I can get just to the end of my jump ring, so I'm not taking up space that I want. And I dropped that, so now I have to rearrange it so I make sure I get it the right way. Taking up space that I need to go through that. Would you stop? Stop. Is that the right way? Nope, wrong way. Turn her over. Yeah, that's the way we want it to go. So, what have I got going on here? This needs to turn sideways, but now they're the same direction. We don't want them to be the same direction. So we're going to have to do a twist here. There we go. That's what we want. So pick this guy back up, go through here, and then through the ring here. Now you need to give yourself as much space as possible because you don't have a lot of extra space here. And I don't think, there we go. I wasn't sure I opened it wide enough. So we'll get this guy closed. Make sure he's hanging the way I want him to. She's still not quite. These should be entirely opposite each other. So one of these has to go just a little bit. Okay. Now I need to get 2 more jump rings out and put the other 2 on, and we will be done. We need 2. So open these up. Come on, you. Open up a little bit more. Now again, we have to watch for, make sure we put these on so that our leaves stay going the right direction. So that jump ring didn't want to close all the way. And when that happens, you need to wiggle it back and forth with tiny bit of forward pressure. You don't want to just Hercules it. Just a little bit of forward pressure will do it, and it'll come together. There we go. Now this one on. Come on, go on. Why are you not going over the bar? There we go. And the second one's on, and we have our leaves going the right direction. So there is number 1 and number 2. Aren't those pretty? Hope you enjoyed making those with me. Let's flip back up quickly so we can see what's going on here. So there we go. And here is our earring. And as you can see, it's quite long. But oh boy, isn't that pretty? Like I say, if you wanted it a little shorter, so it would just hit just at your shoulder instead of coming down a little further, you could take that this upper bead out and just jump ring these two together, the post and it's a little crooked. So let's straighten that up. There we go. So there we go. That's what she looks like. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. So they are quite long, but they are really pretty. Anyway, I think they are. And like I say, to shorten them, take out this piece or just take out some of the beads down here. For instance, the second green aventurine and maybe one of the leaves in this stuff, and that would shorten them up quite a bit. So I think they turned out really pretty. I hope you enjoyed making them with me, and we'll see you later. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we've been using the Bargain Bead Box Falling Leaves. So we'll see y'all later. And I know we went a little bit over our hour, so, not too bad. Bye-bye.